This is the story of Putin hidden bunkers.
Near the end of March 2022, two airplanes did something strange. They both belonged to the Rossiya Special Flight Detachment, a fleet of aircraft directly subordinate to the President of the Russian Federation. In peacetime, these planes flew to Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Sochi, but now they flew differently. Only about a month after the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, RA-61716 visited Yekaterinburg once and then Ufa twice. The other plane, RA-96017, also flew to Yekaterinburg and then to Magnitogorsk. Why these two planes would fly to these three cities in the east? Right when the invasion of Ukraine had just started, the Soviets ordered thousands of laborers to build vast underground bunkers. An American nuclear security specialist explained that drawings and notes from senior SAC officers indicated the Yamantau command center lies within a mountain of rock and quartz roughly 900 meters beneath the peak. It serves as a base designed to shelter Russia's top political leadership. While the exact layout of this facility is unknown, American bunkers give us a point of reference. Looking at schematics of the Cheyenne Mountain complex, one can imagine a command hub, fuel reserves, water supplies, and operational quarters. Still, Yamantau stands apart. Since the mountain is composed mostly of quartz, communication proves challenging. Quartz is known to disrupt radio transmissions. If this enormous underground facility cannot provide reliable contacts between Russia's political leadership and its forces, what purpose might it serve instead? After the Cold War, Yamantau was thought to be abandoned. The era of limitless communist spending had ended. Yet the site drew renewed attention in the 1990s, when US spy satellites detected Russian activity there once more. Now, over 3 decades later, some reports claim construction is accelerating again. Next to Yamantau is a town called Mizgia. Formed after the merger of two military camps, Mizgia is militarily restricted. Not any Russian can get in. So at the end of April 2021, the locals in Mizgia were in for a surprise. An Ufa-based newspaper reported that a convoy of at least 19 units of heavy construction vehicles showed up with license plates registered in Moscow. The local mayor's office informed the paper that the vehicles would expand the asset base of Upper Volhynia Strait Sesva No. 30. US-30 is contracted specifically for heavy construction projects, including the construction of large-scale underground complexes. They didn't comment on the purpose of the expansion because the projects of US-30 are directly under management of the Ministry of Defense. In April of 2021, military convoys showed up in Mizgia, and in April of 2021, the Russians also mobilized thousands near the border of Ukraine. Months later, parts of the presidential fleet flew to cities in the immediate area, seemingly out of nowhere. In early 2021, Navalny published an investigation into a palace on the Black Sea. Funded by public money, it's a hidden mega facility constructed for Putin's private use. Navalny also released diagrams. They reveal a building that's as impressive above ground as it is underground. Located beneath Putin's palace are tunnels and a massive elevator. They're equipped with ventilation and sewage systems and all the other necessary equipment for fresh water and electricity. The leech cross-section of the elevator also shows multiple ventilation shafts, which hints that this is no normal elevator. It could very well be that these are backups in case of an attack. Whether these tunnels can withstand a modern nuclear blast is unclear, but the walls are made out of 38 centimeters of concrete. Even more revealing is that they were also constructed by US No. 30, the same organization connected to the Yamantau. US 30 answers directly to the NDSP, the main directorate of special programs of the President of the Russian Federation. It is the state body that is tasked with organizing the construction of hardened protective structures, and it is led by one of Putin's most trusted individuals. Alexander Leonets was a former regional head of the FSB, the descendant organization of the KGB. He's been the head of the MDSP since 2015. In 2020, Putin's admiration and trust for Leonets was shown through a public income statement that revealed that Leonets had moved into a 177 square meter luxury apartment in Moscow. The Kremlin gives Leonets treats because Leonets is important. He not only leads the directorate connected to Yamantau and Putin's palace, but his organization is also linked with bunkers directly in Russia's capital. Next to Moscow State University lies a stretch of prime land that has sat empty for years. This is unusual. Moscow is densely developed, yet the property is directly beside the country's most prestigious university. In 2017, however, construction began on the site under the president's orders. Katerina Tikhanova, a professional dancer with master's degrees in mathematics and physics, heads the Inopraktika Foundation, which oversees the project. Under her leadership, the land is slated to become a science and innovation park for MSU. Tikhanova also happens to be Putin's daughter. The land now under development by her foundation is partially owned by Trensa or TIS, a construction firm whose board includes members of the MDSP. TIS's deputy director is a former head of US 30, and the company can only accept foreign contracts with approval from the MDSP itself. TIS is also known for building underground tunnels. The land being transformed under Putin's daughter's foundation is rumored to sit above a vast leadership bunker, believed to be 200 to 300 meters deep and capable of housing 10,000 people. Just like Yamantau, Soviet planners were highly inventive when it came to hidden underground facilities in Moscow. The capital's metro system, for example, was designed so parts of it could be converted into shelters for civilians during an emergency. At Belorusskaya station, riders descend deep enough that the platforms could double as a protected bunker. But if one explores the station further, a curious sight emerges, a newly restored statue dedicated to the Soviet Republic of Belarus. On either side stand two ordinary grey doors, which conceal something far less ordinary. Originally built for the USSR Ministry of Communications, the Belorusskaya metro connects to a vast restricted bunker. It is meant to be accessed from an external building and serve as a fortified command post. This site was never intended for civilians but for the Soviet and later Russian leadership. Today, it sits in disrepair, though it reflects a pattern. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also had its own bunker, and declassified files reveal even more ambitious designs tied to Moscow's metro system that could be adapted into secure complexes. Unlike Belorusskaya or the projects shown in declassified documents, however, some of Moscow's hidden bunkers remain completely secret. On November 17, 2015, Moscow digger Pavel Safronov was detained by the FSB. Just a year earlier, Pavel and a small group had spent 3 days exploring what they believed to be the Metro 2 tunnel system. Metro 2 is rumored to be a secret subterranean rail line linking the Kremlin to a vast bunker complex set to sit near Moscow State University, on the very land now under development. According to the explorers, some passages stretched hundreds of meters and reached 25 meters in height, though many sections appeared abandoned and in decay. Pavel also claimed to have found a sealed entryway that connected directly to the Kremlin. These reports remain anecdotal. There is no proof that the tunnels were actively in use when Pavel entered them. Yet, following Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, he was later arrested for allegedly leaking state secrets. Make of that what you will. But does this prove anything about the supposed bunker under MSU? Not really. The truth is, we don't know what the Remenki bunker looks like, nor do we understand the full scope of Moscow's underground network. Perhaps it is mere coincidence that Putin's daughter is now tied to a large-scale project built on top of what some believe to be a leadership bunker, at a time when safeguarding his family could be more urgent than ever. In reality, the situation remains unclear. Putin himself is surrounded by secrecy, as are Russia's underground facilities. One example lies near the Altai Mountains, or a secluded compound has raised questions. Officially built by Gazprom as a high-profile retreat, the estate has hosted Putin for state visits. On the surface, it seems unremarkable, a sturdy house on a riverbank, somewhat isolated, with only a few auxiliary buildings. What draws attention is the presence of a powerful transformer station. This is not the kind of infrastructure used to power a handful of homes. It's capable of sustaining a small city. That alone sparked speculation. A Russian professor even suggested that part of Putin's family resides in Altai, possibly in a secret, highly advanced bunker. Still, skepticism remains. Constructing such an extensive underground city without detection would be extremely difficult. Soil and rock displaced from excavation must go somewhere, and hiding it is nearly impossible. In truth, whether it's Altai, Yamantau, Putin's Black Sea Palace, or the grounds near Moscow State University, we simply do not know the scale of Russia's bunkers or how remarkable they truly are. It's easy to imagine sprawling subterranean cities built by hidden power structures. But it's just as likely they are nothing more than functional concrete rooms, worn down over time. Like rushing itself, the reality of these bunkers may sit in between the mysterious yet ordinary, organized but chaotic, formidable yet fragile,